Are internships a good choice or a bad choice for college students in present day? Well, there's a lot of things to consider when thinking about internships and their effect on our economy, the workforce experience, the effect on families, on the student's livelihood, and what is the overall benefit of most internships. I personally have a lot of experience with internships because my sister has interned for almost 4 years now. She is in school right now to get her PhD. Um, it's been a really hard, long road for her, and she's done a lot of hard work that I think was a little bit undercredited when it comes down to it. Um, Throughout her experience, it's really just relied on her work ethic. I know that she's learned a lot through the experience, but I wouldn't necessarily say that it didn't come for a cost. Fortunately for her, she didn't actually pay out of pocket for her internships. She just didn't get paid at all. So she was just kind of responsible for drowning herself in student loan debt while she tried to support herself working for free. Um, and Unpaid Interns, Complicit Colleges on page 499 by Ross Perlin. He refers to internships as a nebulous area of labor law. Students resign at higher rates due to the paying of the internships because in some cases, as well as spending an entire academic year in some instances, working without compensation, they work for several years. Most of the time, a bachelor degree is 4 years, if not more. Students take longer in some instances to get their degree just because of dilemmas in everyday life. People have children, people have families, people get sick. It's just part of everyday life. The U.S. Department of Labor states that an intern may only work without pay when the program is similar to that offered in a vocational school, benefits the student, and does not displace a regular employee, and doesn't entitle the student to a job. I know in a lot of cases, the U.S. Department of Labor hasn't necessarily stood as a ground rule for a lot of companies. I know that my sister, in fact, has been guaranteed before that she would have a job once the internship was over. And then when it was time to have a paying job, they found another intern to replace her spot to work for free. So, unfortunately, that is the law, but things don't always play out the way that the U.S. Department of Labor wants it to. I know there are some companies that do follow those rules, though, and they're very strict and they stay with what's right and they treat their interns with all the uttermost respect they deserve. And power to them. But in a lot of cases, I think that internships aren't really the best thing. I think that in more cases than not, internships make students feel like they have to just work and work and work, and then they turn into workaholics whenever they do get out into the real world in the workforce. And of course, they have amazing work ethic because they've worked for free all these years, but in return, they lose time with their families, they overwork themselves, and burn out at an early age. I mean, um, internships aren't really the best thing, in my opinion, as I said before. On page 502, Anya Kamenetz, uh, in her article, Take This Internship and Shove It, she speaks about the experience as an intern herself. She worked for a newspaper in March of 2002, and she unfortunately didn't have a good experience either. She thinks that lost wages and living expenses are extremely significant considerations for the two-thirds of students who need loans to get through college, which brings me back to student loans. I mean, college is kind of at an all-time high rate in general, just in order to go to school and to be able to have a college education and experience the college experience. It's just extremely expensive, and even going to a community college and not taking the extra money out to go to a large university, it's still very hard for students to find the funds to pay for the classes and pay for the books, and grants don't always support all of that. It's just a little bit harsh, I think, in some cases, to make students work for free when they're already working so hard just to study and to be a significant member of society and a good person and be there for their family and all of that. Um, once again, the Bureau of Labor Statistics is stated in her article. She does bring up the point that it does not track any internship related statistics, meaning that all that unpaid work is kind of like an illegal immigrant in a way. People who are looking for jobs and who have been on unemployment and have the credentials to get those jobs go and search and search and search when there's all these college students that are willing to work for free because they have to get that experience before going into the workforce. A lot of people are contributing to our unemployment, and I mean, every year we pay our taxes, and that adds to help our people in the country with unemployment. And it's at an all-time high right now, and partially I think that it contributes to internships. I mean, these students are constantly going to college. You can't really have a good job anymore without having a college degree. So most students will go into the workforce and then realize, oh my gosh, I can't support myself. So they'll go back to college, and when they do, they get turned into an internship, which is normal for most college students, but unfortunately it just has a really bad effect on our economy and on the people who are already certified to do those jobs. I mean, the theory that she presents is that you must be rich enough in order to get your foot in the door if you aren't receiving pay, which some people are fortunate enough that they have a family that will support them and they'll be able to pay for college and have everything that they ever wanted and be able to have gas to get where they need to be. But on the other hand, there's other people in this world that don't have that family support or don't come from a lot of money. And I mean, in some cases, just getting to work every day and having enough gas to get there is a major issue. People wake up and are in panic because some of them just don't have money and they just can't afford to get to where they need to be. I know for a fact that my sister and I didn't come from a lot of money. My parents currently don't have a lot of money, and we've kind of been responsible for getting our education on our own and working hard for it, and that's going to be part of the reward one day. But I know that there have been times that my sister has had to skip dinner. She's had to skip meals just because she wanted to have gas to get to her internship the next day. I mean, it just comes down to the importance of what does she need to do right now. And that shouldn't be a predicament that she has to deal with because internships should be paid. I think that if someone's doing the same work as the normal person that would be doing that job, they deserve to be compensated for what they're doing as well.